Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So this is where we're gonna start the cloud journey with fundamentals of cloud computing. So what is cloud computing? Before explaining that, let me just give you a short story. Imagine you are a owner of a startup and you have a user base of 1,000 users on your application, and now you have all the infrastructure on premise, which means every hardware that is required to run your application is on board in your office. Now suddenly overnight your application goes viral and you have to upscale your application so that you can accommodate as many users that are coming overnight. So you need to upscale your infrastructure basically, right? So for that you would need to buy new computers, new servers, new storage devices, and then build up your another setup where you can handle all these new coming traffic. But this is not possible overnight, right? So all of your user base is gonna be complaining about the site crashing down, or maybe slowing down. So this is where cloud computing comes into picture. Now cloud computing is something which helps you to access these resources that are situated somewhere in the world, and then you are accessing it over internet. So cloud computing means accessing these resources over the internet, right? So it also means where you can have applications, you can have storage devices, infrastructure, just like in the video, in the picture that you can see here. All the user base users can access these infrastructure, application, and storage on the cloud, which means over the internet, right? So cloud is something which helps us to get these resources on our, organization via internet, and then we can, upscale, or we can descale, or we can even use it as per as our use cases. So suppose now this, with us in the example of what I gave you, the startup owner, suppose you got your user trafficking just shooted in overnight, and then you want to upscale your servers. So if you were in cloud model, or if you had your everything on the cloud premises, what you could have done is you can have just logged into your cloud provider, and then from there you could have just uh, upscaled your configuration settings, and then boom, and you would have your all the infrastructures upscaled as per your user requirements. So this is how cloud computing helps us. Cloud computing is further divided into multiple models. One is deployment model and one is service model. For deployment model, we have private cloud, we have public cloud, we have hybrid cloud. Private cloud. What is private cloud? Just like its name, it's something private, right? Suppose you are living in a gated community where you have a swimming pool in your apartment, and this swimming pool can only be accessed by the residents of this apartment, right? So nobody other than the resident of this apartment can access this swimming pool. Similarly, private cloud is something where only one single organization can access these resources, and only this organization can manage these resources, which means the all the hardwares, all the servers, all the virtual machines, or anything that existing there as an hardware required are allocated for just one single organization. So thus this organization has complete control over the infrastructure. So this is what private cloud is. Next comes public cloud. So public cloud is something where multiple users can access multiple resources. Basically it's like you have a huge pool of infrastructure where, and any user can come up and use these resources as per their demand or as per their requirements, and access these resources, and then after after the requirements are satisfied, they can deallocate these resources, which means this will again come to the standby mode, all the infrastructures. So this is how public cloud works, where anybody, or and the cloud infrastructure is available for public use. So that's what is. Next is hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud. To explain hybrid cloud, imagine you are an owner of a retail company again, and you have two objectives. You want to store the sensitive information of your users. You want to store the data or the information of your e-com website. So what will you do? You'll have two different deployments. One is for the information of your users. One will be for the e-com website. Now, what you could do is you could use private cloud to manage your sensitive information of users, and you can manage your e-com website with public cloud, because you don't require, allocating one specific infrastructure, because the information on e-com website isn't that sensitive, like as the information of the users. So this is how it works. So hybrid cloud is a mixture of these two things. Moving ahead, we have resource pooling. Now, resource pooling is a part of public cloud where we have these resources, the virtual machine, servers, databases, and any user can access these resources as per their demand, as I mentioned earlier. And this is because suppose you have a pool of resources, and if anybody wants to use this, they can use it. If they don't want it, it can be on the standby thing, or they can just deallocate the resources. So this is in this way one can efficiently use these resources. Now if I consider the case of private cloud, suppose this infrastructure, it's allocated only for one single organization, and when this organization doesn't have any requirement to use these infrastructure, so it will be idle and it won't be used. So in that case, like the resources are being these resources are being wasted. So resource pooling is something which allows us to allocate or deallocate the resources based on the requirements or based on the demand. So that was resource pooling. Next is community cloud and multi cloud. So to imagine community cloud, imagine we have a unified healthcare system. So in the unified healthcare system, what happens is, suppose me as a person, if I go to any hospital for any diagnosis of my symptoms, I would have to, tell the doctor about my past medications, my past history with medicine, my past whatever be stuff, medical history basically. So suppose if we have a unified medical or healthcare system where all these hospital or all the authorized medical professionals can access this cloud database on their system. So it will be called as community cloud, because now whenever I go to any doctor, he would have access to my healthcare ID and all my information regarding my medical history. So this is the deployment of community cloud. Now, this could also be deployed in universities as well. So this is the main idea of community cloud. Next is multi cloud. To explain multi cloud, imagine we have multiple cloud providers. Basically, cloud providers are basically the organizations which provide you these services of renting or using or allocating these infrastructures. So the major cloud providers are AWS, Amazon Web Service, Microsoft Azure. From Microsoft, then we have GCP, Google Cloud Program, and then we also have DigitalOcean. We have IBM. There are a lot of cloud providers existing right now. So multi-cloud is the deployment model where we are using multiple cloud providers in one single organization. For example, we are using AWS. Suppose we are using AWS for the storing the information, like storing the information of our ecom website, and we are using GCP for security and compliance. We are using Microsoft Azure to host our this application. So this is how multi-cloud deployment model works. It allocates multiple cloud providers and then services from them. So on the deployment models, this was it. We had private, public, hybrid, community, and multi-cloud. Next comes the uh, cloud computing on the basis of service model. Now, on the basis of service model, we have three main, that is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Now, what does infrastructure as a service mean? Infrastructure as a service means where we rent these infrastructure like the servers, the virtual machines, the databases, the networking devices. We rent these infrastructures on pay as you go basis, which means if we want a certain configuration of hardware, we could just go on our cloud providers application, and then we can just rent it from there. So that is infrastructure as a service. Then comes platform as a service. So in platform as a service model, you can develop, you can deploy, you can run, you can manage applications as per your need without having to worry about the underlying infrastructure. So you could just build any application on top of certain infrastructures that you require. You don't have to go and configure the infrastructure as per your need. It would automatically be allocated to you as per your requirements. Next comes software as a service. Now SaaS. SaaS is a major buzzword right now. So what is software as a service? So imagine you're using any service on internet. It does not require installation, it does not require managing infrastructure, it does not require any maintenance or installation of any things, and any library or any setup. So all you have to do is just go to your browser and then access this website's URL, go to the website and access all the services that it is providing. So this is software as a service. So this was all about cloud computing. I hope you understood what cloud computing or what cloud technology means. We'll learn more about the cloud in next video, and we'll continue our series for AWS Cloud Practitioner. So if you like the video, press the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and yeah, just stay tuned. Thank you.